On behalf of Ag Social, thank you for the invitation to join this afternoon. We are really pleased to bring the topic of social media to your annual general meeting. Okay, just a little bit more about what we'll cover this afternoon. So we're just going to tell you a little bit about Ag Social. We're going to cover some social media behaviors and trends. We'll talk a little bit about what we believe is the most effective content types on social media. Some of the best platforms for agriculture. I mean, there's so many social media platforms out there today, but we'll focus on some of the ones that we think are the most relevant for agriculture. We'll share with you some content tips, tools, and resources you can use to have develop an effective social media presence. And then we'll cover how do you build a social media community, and finally, some key takeaways. So first of all, I just want to share with you a little bit about why Ag Social. So Ag Social was founded in June of 2023, so we're a relatively new company. It was founded out of the need for when I reflect back at my time at independent ag retail, the smartphone really transformed how we connected and interacted with our customers. And we knew that social media was becoming a bigger avenue where our customers connected and got their information from. So we knew it was relevant for us to have a more consistent and frequent presence on social media. Most of us in our jobs at ag retail didn't know a lot about social media other than our own personal experiences with social media. So we hired a company to do some social media marketing training for us. And as a result of that, we saw how much was involved in having an effective social media strategy and online presence. So we hired them to help us with that. And what I learned very quickly from that experience was that they were very, very effective and very good at their job of digital marketing and social media marketing. But without that agriculture background, I found I was rewriting a lot of content and changing a lot of images. So we decided to take it in-house. And most of us, we created a team and we're doing the social media marketing for the company off the sides of our desks. And so as I got into my own company, I met Ashley through a mutual ag client, and we saw the need to provide agribusinesses, farmers and ranchers with an opportunity to access professional social media marketing and digital marketing through a company that really specializes on it. So if you can see, here's Ashley and I, the co-founders of Ag Social. And the premise of Ag Social is really ag expertise and experience meets pro social media marketing. And you can see us here with some of our clients and also doing some of the things that we love doing in agriculture. For me, there's a picture of me with my cutting horse and showing my Suffolk sheep as just examples. And Ashley is there providing a presentation for one of our clients and out in the field taking some content. So we're really excited to be in this space, and we are really enjoying working on behalf of our clients. So in addition to Ashley and myself as co-founders, we also created an advisory board of farmers and ranchers. And we felt that was an important step to ensure that we could stay connected at the ground level of what was happening in the industry. So some of these people on the screen are people you might be familiar with. Steve Larocque actually owns his own agronomy company in Alberta called Beyond Agronomy. Charlie Elke is from a family farm at Jansen, Saskatchewan. Cheryl Norleen and her husband, Mark, farm just south of Raymore. And they have a mixed operation where they grain farm. They have a beef cattle operation and also have 8,000 laying hens. Allison Fisher is a seed grower from Dauphin, Manitoba. Blake Bergen is a former work colleague of mine. He also grain farms with his father at Drake, Saskatchewan. Jill Harvey was previously the public affairs specialist for the Canadian Cattle Association. And after a very successful career at the CCA, Jill and her husband Cole own and operate Harvey Ranching, where they raise purebred Herefords and Charolais cattle. And finally, Sheldon Kyle is from Redford, Saskatchewan. He is a purebred Red Angus breeder and also a past president of the Canadian Angus Association. So we're really pleased to have these very esteemed members of our board to help guide us in our growth as a company. In addition to our advisory board, we also have our marketing team of social media marketing strategists. And I'm really pleased that two of our members actually have degrees from the College of Ag at the University of Saskatchewan, to Kayla Kendall, who lives at Cadillac. And down in the bottom left-hand corner, some of you probably know Danielle Barrett. Danielle is our agronomy marketing specialist. She recently joined us in November, and she has a long career in independent ag retail and also working as an agronomist. Most of our social media strategists actually are connected to a farm or a ranch in some way, shape, or form. They either grew up at a farm, on a farm or a ranch, or have been connected to one. And in the last few years, obviously have connected more with agriculture, with being social media strategists to support our clients' content management. So a little bit about what we do as Ag Social. Obviously, we specialize in social media marketing. We also do social media marketing training. We do email marketing. We also assist our clients with doing marketing plans and marketing strategies, and we also help with website updates. So I want to pivot right now and just talk a little bit about the 4 reasons why you should consider a strong social media presence. The first reason is really just talking about what I had talked about earlier with my experience at Independent Ag Retail. When I said most of our customers really, the communications we had with them had evolved once the smartphone became a part of their everyday lives. So when we started Ag Social, we surveyed over 100 farmers, and what we learned was 85% of farmers use social media every single day. So we knew that this is an important place where they were spending their time and also getting some of the information. So in addition to that, experts predict that 96% of online Canadians will be on social media by 2026. And if I was to guess, I would say we're probably already there today. So essentially, the first reason is this is where agricultural customers are spending their time. The second reason why it's important to consider having a social media marketing strategy is that it's cost effective and measurable at the same time. So you can reach a large audience regardless of your budget. And there's really 2 ways that you can do that. One is through an organic strategy, which means something a little bit different in social media marketing than it does in agriculture. So an organic strategy in social media marketing is really a strategy where you are doing it without the assistance of paid or sponsored advertisements. And then, of course, the second way is you can really target your advertising through a paid strategy on the social media marketing platforms that you choose. Next, one of the things that we see at Ag Social is that consumers really want to develop a relationship with the people that they buy from and the people they engage with and interact with online. So just like in agriculture, where it's a people's business and you really want to develop those relationships, social media is very similar in that regard. People do want to know you before they become a customer. So social media is a good platform to help build an online relationship with your target audience. And I mentioned earlier that it's measurable. And I'm really proud of the fact that on the screen now is just an example of some of the performance metrics that we've been really excited to help our customers achieve. So in 2024, 47 million impressions, 60,000 followers gained, 1.1 million engagements, and 17.3 million organic video views. So again, I talked about the real benefit of social media marketing, given that it is one form of marketing that is measurable, and it's also measurable in real time. So my co-founder partner Ashley is going to take over talking a little bit more about social media use in Canada, and really specifically talking about the content types that we recommend and how to integrate them. And then I'll follow up with some key takeaways.
All right, thanks, Patty. Hi, everybody. Okay, so let's talk about how Canadians are using social media and how it's growing from 2024. So the average number of platforms that each social media user logs into each month is 7. So that's a lot of platforms, but we want to highlight the top 5. So Facebook had a 4% growth from 2023 to 2024. And the biggest audience there is that 25 to 34-year-old age group. LinkedIn had a decline of 22%, although it is a second highest use in Canada. And the biggest group there is 25 to 34-year-olds. Instagram had a large increase, so 5% from 23 to 2024, and we see it continue to grow. And the biggest age groups there are split evenly between 18 to 24 and 25 to 34-year-olds. And actually, this platform is being adopted by that next age group, older millennials and Gen X as well. TikTok saw an increase of 9%, so the biggest grower with respect to social media use in Canada, but it's a younger audience. So the lion's share of the audience there is the 10 to 19-year-olds. And then X had a decline of 23%, but the biggest group there is 25 to 34-year-olds. One of the reasons why we bring this up is because it's important to focus your efforts with your social media marketing. So because there are, 7 platforms that the average user logs into every day, it's very important to focus on the top 1, 2, or 3 maybe that will impact your brand the most, and you should be led by where your target audiences are spending their time. So for example, if your target audience is not in that 10 to 19 age range for TikTok, then your efforts are probably better spent on Facebook and Instagram, where you have that older audience that looks more like your customers. The next slide that we have here talks about the top reasons consumers enjoy content. So we're very audience focused, and it's very important when you do social media marketing that you think about your audience first, because the power is all in their hands. They have nothing but choice, and they want to see content from brands that offers them some sort of value. And so through surveys, it has been found that consumers enjoy brand content most when it tells them or teaches them something new. And these are all in order. They're top 4 reasons. Next, makes them laugh or smile. Next, inspires them. Or finally, is visually engaging. So when we create content, we try to hit several of these attributes, if not all of them, but at least one, so that we know we're providing value for our audience. All right, so key takeaways here. You should be sure to include one of the top reasons consumers enjoy social media content for all your content efforts. So when you make a post, just go through that list and just ask yourself, does it nail one of these 4 things on the list? And if it does, then you're on the right track. Next, you want to carefully watch and assess your engagement analytics. So engagement is a good sign that your efforts are being appreciated and being noticed by your audiences, and that you're getting a return on investment for your efforts. So engagement is just when people interact with your post. So that means we're providing value for our audience. They're liking what they see. So that's why it's a really great way to measure if your audience is liking what you're putting out there. All right, so let's talk about some trends, insights, and tools for success in 2025. All right, so there are 3 key content types that we're going to talk about. So feed posts, stories, and reels. So content type 1 is your regular feed post. So everyone's pretty much familiar with these. So they live on your social media platforms. They're seen in regular feeds. They live forever, and they can generally either be a single image or several images put together like a carousel. These are very important. They are essential content. People expect them. They build engagement, consistency, visibility, and trust. And consistency and content variety can improve your organic performance. And remember, organic in social media marketing is we're not paying Meta, Facebook, Instagram, or X, or any of the platforms to put it in front of more people. We're just building engagement naturally and organically. Carousel. So we talked about it can either be, oh, sorry, Patty, if you don't mind going back. We talked about either it can be a single image or several images, including carousels, so several image. You can see the example on the top right corner will give you the highest engagement right now. This is what our data is showing us. We're very data oriented. We watch our analytics. We don't make assumptions. We watch what our audiences are engaging with, and carousels have the highest value for audiences right now. And then finally, for feed posts, the top tip is real photos with minimal branding have the highest engagement. So the great thing about that is for anybody who doesn't have access to a pro graphic designer, getting a real photo of a real person in action is going to perform better. All right, so type 2 is stories. So these are the ones that float above the regular feed posts. If you're on your phone, they're at the top of your screen. Same with on your desktop. Their special feature, they have a completely different algorithm and different audiences, but it's a place for you to post temporary content. So such as images, interactive graphics, videos, and they're only visible for 24 hours. So they're kind of cool because you can be less formal if you want, and they offer a way to share updates, what's happening in the moment behind the scenes without permanently cluttering your profile or feed. And why they're super important is they're extremely influential. So again, the data shows us that 62% of Meta users, so Meta, when we say Meta, it means Instagram and Facebook combined, say they've become more interested in a brand or product after seeing it in stories. 70% of Meta users watch stories every single day. And they're temporary and casual. They disappear after 24 hours, so they're great for showcasing products, but also casual things that are happening in the moment. All right, so content type 3, and a super important form of content is Reels. So Reels are just short vertical videos that are spliced together. They're made to entertain, educate, inspire your audiences. They can be up to 90 seconds long. They can include creative tools like music, text filters, and special effects. They're a powerful way to showcase your business, connect with followers, but also reach new audiences. They have the highest return on your investment with respect to reach. It is a different algorithm, and Instagram prioritizes Reels right now in its algorithm. So we're able to reach more people with Reels than any other form of content. And people love them, so they are essential. If we're talking about, putting our audiences first and making our content all about them, it means that we need to integrate Reels. Over half the time spent on Instagram is dedicated to Reels, so they're spending a lot of time there. And then, as mentioned, they've got the highest reach. So their reach rate is 30.81%. It's not just the highest, it's over double the rate of all other post types. So they're over twice as likely to be shown than any other post. All right, so creating Reels, there's lots of great tools in Instagram and Facebook, and really Meta has made it very easy for users to adopt. So if you haven't tried them yet, I just suggest you get out your phone and play around with the tools. Here's some performance tips though to make them go a little bit further and perform better. So Meta wants you to have fresh, original content. So Instagram emphasizes original content over reposted or recycled material. Next is using music and trends. So if you're familiar with Instagram or Facebook Reels, you're going through your feeds, there's lots of trending music happening, and applying that popular music to your Reels will increase your Reels visibility. And then finally, consistency. So Instagram and Facebook will reward you if you're consistently posting reels, because it'll help your account stay in the algorithm's favor. All right, so now we're going to go into, because we mentioned that reels are so essential right now and they're a huge key to success, we're going to go a little bit deeper and offer you some tips for taking better videos for your reels. Okay, so the number one thing to always remember is that when you're capturing any content, the best performing videos on social media are candid videos of real happy people in action. So always try your best to get a human in your videos if possible. A few more tips is, well, let's talk about sound. So if your background sound is interesting, you can capture it with a longer clip with no interruptions. But if your background sound isn't, so say you're, capturing someone working in the field, but there's something loud and annoying going on in the background, you don't have to worry because you can apply the trending music over top and remove the sound. Next, you can use cinematic mode. So if you have an iPhone or a Samsung, there's a mode on there that just you can switch it to that makes your video high def and really pleasing. Next, let's talk about high def though specifically. It's essential to capture high def clips. You will be penalized by Meta if you have grainy clips. So the best way to think about that is try to eliminate zooming as much as possible, and get as close to your subject as much as possible, and stay as still as possible. All right, so also users love Reels videos that have movement. So be sure your shots show interesting movement. So if your person or piece of equipment or crop or cattle or whatever you're shooting, your subject isn't moving, you can pan your camera to get that movement. Next, your subject should take up about 1/3 of your videos so that viewers know what they're supposed to look at, just as a general rule. So the human or piece of equipment or whatever you're capturing, make sure it takes up about 1/3. And then short shots. So the cool thing about Reels is you can edit them really easily right in Instagram and Facebook. So you can take longer clips and just clip them to different lengths. But to capture and like keep a user's attention, your clips should be spliced at about 2 to 10 seconds max. You can have a reel that's up to 90 seconds long, but just be sure each individual clip is about 2 to 10 seconds max. All right. So next we're going to go into hashtags for feed post stories and reels. So we get every presentation I do, the hashtag question comes up a lot, because they're very important. They can improve your visibility of your posts. They can boost the engagement of your posts, and they can make connections with your audience. So just to make it simple, we've distilled the hashtags into 5 main types for you to consider. So location-based hashtags. So, I'm from Moose Jaw, so hashtag city MJ, or, YXE if you're in Saskatoon. Branded hashtags. So if you have your own brand's hashtags, or if you're, talking about another brand. Industry hashtag. So this one's highlighted. It's one of the most important ones. So this one would describe your niche. So for example, hashtag plant25 or hashtag egg day or whatever it is that's specific to your industry. Next is community focus hashtag. So any events happening. And then finally, another really important one highlighted in yellow are descriptive hashtags. So they describe the the content of your actual post. So it's now that you have like those top 5 hashtags to consider, sometimes it's hard to think of like ideas. The 2 highlighted yellow ones are most important, so focus on those. But imagine you have a post and you have to have those 2 highlighted hashtags, but you're not sure like which ones are popular or which ones will work best with your audience. So you want to actually use a hashtag that's actually being used within your industry. So a cool trick is you go into Instagram and you can just start searching hashtags, like use keywords, start thinking of ideas. And this is just an example of when we search hashtag harvest 24, it comes up with all the most popular content, or the best content that Instagram thinks will suit your search best. And you can take a peek at all the different posts that come up with that. And then that's a really good indication that that's a good hashtag to use. Also, this is a great place to find ideas. So if you're ever wondering, like, where do I start with an idea for a post, or you know you want to post about something, but you want to see what's out there. For example, you're maybe posting about Plant 25, just go into Instagram, search hashtag Plant 25. Instagram will show you all the latest and greatest Plant 25 posts, and you can really get some great ideas that you can use for your own brand. All right, so next we're going to go into posting frequency. So this is largely dependent on two key things. So your own goals and your availability. So some of us might have a lot of time for this. Some of us might have a lot of things we want to achieve with social media. So of course, then your posting will go up. But some of us might not have a lot of time, and some of us might not have clear direction. And so, we don't have to post as much. But the key thing to remember is no matter what your goals are or your availability, it's very important to be consistent. Gone are the days where we just post when we have something to sell and then forget about our social media until another opportunity for sales comes up. We have to be a part of our audience's lives on social media, and then the algorithms will pay attention to our brands. They'll favor our brands and put us in front of more people, growing our brands online. Consistency is also key to building relationships and loyalty with your audiences. They want to, see you present in a consistent manner, and they want to know. And as Patty mentioned, relationships are so huge in business, in ag, and on social media, because customers want to know, like, and trust you before they buy from you. So by being consistent on social media, you're building that trust, you're building those relationships so that when they go to make a purchase decision, you become top of mind. All right, next we're going to go into post topics. Okay, so if you're wondering what you should post about, here's a general rule, the general best practice, and that is that you should focus on your products and services no more than 50% of the time, and the other 50% of the time should be focused on telling the story of your business, brand, and your people. And this is just to provide awesome value for your audiences. People will get I guess, marketing fatigue if all we're ever talking about is our products and services. They want to know, more about us, why they should care about our brand and how their values align with ours. Okay, so here's a tip for that is to keep yourself organized. You should create a very simple content calendar. So, you're nailing two things here. You're keeping it consistent, and you're making sure that your products and services and your brand building posts are an equal 50-50 balance. So you're just writing down that simple plan on your content calendar to make sure you're nailing both of those key things. So consistency, two planned posts per week, and then also splitting your content between products and services and brand building. All right, so tip number 3 for what you should post about is to create content pillars. So pillars is a marketing word, but all it really means is themes or topics. So we've outlined, and there are dozens, but we've outlined the top 4 for you guys to use so that you can efficiently focus on the ones that matter most. So number 1, your pillar could be humanizing your brand. So this is where you share content about you or your team. This is where your target audience connects to your content because they're building a relationship with you. 2, of course, products and services, especially if you're, in business, people want to know what you have to sell. It's okay to ask for business to showcase, the products and services you're proud of. Just remember, don't talk about it more than 50% of the time, but it is an essential pillar. This is where you can feature the key benefits of your products and services and provide that that will be of value to your target audience. So be specific and concise about the features, attributes, and benefits. So on this note, be creative in the different ways you talk about your products and services. You don't just have to show like, here it is, here's the benefits, here's the price. By, integrating different use cases, showing different videos, different photos, customer testimonials, things like that. These are very creative ways and different ways that you can delight your audience, but still talk about your products and services. Third is a growlogy. So this is important for this group. So you can define a growlogy and demonstrate your value as a professional agrologist or articling agrologist, and what differentiates your knowledge, skill set, and the value of your accreditation. This will also be a good place to highlight your affiliation with the SIA. So on that note, just briefly, I mean, you guys know the agrology world, you know your attributes, and you know kind of how you would sell yourselves. But highlighting your affiliation with the SIA and other ag groups is really, really valuable, because when you do that, you start to build that community for your brand, and you start to be noticed by their audiences too. So you never underestimate the value of including partnerships that you have throughout ag in your social media content. And then finally is community. This is, anything you're involved with in your community, your customers will appreciate knowing the charity organizations and local community events that you support. So your community involvement really builds that trust and authenticity for your brand on social media. All right, so let's talk about building a social media community for your business. So we talked about the power being all in our customers' hands. They have a world full of choices and they want to know and trust you before becoming a customer. We have to build those relationships, not only with good content, so, a proactive way, but there's also another way to build those relationships. So what you can do, and this is a hot tip because it increases the engagement and it really gets your brand seen beyond just content. You can log into your Facebook or your LinkedIn, your Instagram or your X every day and engage organically with others. So what we mean by engagement is like just picking up your phone, going through your feeds, following others in your industry, following, friends or following other brands, commenting or sharing on their posts, and being authentic about it, right? And it doesn't have to be a deep comment. It could just be something like, oh, that's awesome, or whatever it is, but really giving brand favor back to other people. It's the other way of imagine if somebody commented something really nice on your content, how you would feel. You'd feel really awesome. You'd really like that person or that brand who did it. And by doing this yourself, you're going to get that back. Also, you can acknowledge people when they follow or engage with your content. You can like their content, and you can invite those who have engaged on your Facebook post to like your page as well. And this will build your followership really fast. And just finally, building a community around your business on social media is one of the best ways to earn customer loyalty, referrals to friends and family, and bottom line growth. People are way more likely to, listen to somebody that they feel is a friend or a family member on what you have to suggest for them to buy than when it comes from a business themselves. So it's building those friendships, those relationships, and making sure you're being seen and building that community.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. Now I'll just have a couple of slides to showcase some of the key takeaways. We've presented a lot of different ideas, tools, and tips for executing your own social media. So key takeaway number one is really to evaluate for yourself, who is the target audience that you want your social media to reach? What type of content will they be interested in? And especially in agriculture, we're really fortunate that if you're out in the field as an agrologist or you're working with your customers, we have the opportunity of working in a natural environment. And a lot of that content is content that really performs well with ag audiences. So take advantage of that with great photos and videos, and especially reels, as Ashley spent her time talking about. Really, Consider what is your goal for your social media efforts. Do you want to expand your reach? Are you trying to showcase your skills as an agrologist? Are you trying to grow your reputation, earn positive word of mouth online, just as an example? And then create a plan. Once you've developed a strategy, create a plan for execution. So create 3 to 5 suitable content pillars. We gave you an example of 4 of them that you might want to consider using. Think about the 3 content types we've talked about and utilizing each of those 3 content types. So the feed, post, stories, and reels. Focus on, a maximum. If your time's limited, focus on a maximum of top 1 to 3 social media platforms that'll suit your audience best. Ashley talked a little bit about, Facebook is still the #1 platform in Canada. LinkedIn is an important platform, especially for this group as professional agrologists. It's really an opportunity for you to stay connected with your colleagues in agriculture through LinkedIn. And then Instagram is another fantastic platform that really is a great place to showcase reels and beautiful imagery from when we're out in the fields with our customers or we're, working with our colleagues in different projects. And then, really, I talked about this earlier. Decide whether you want to hire a professional social media marketer to help you with this or you want to do it yourself. The second takeaway is as we said earlier, social media is a powerful and cost-effective way to build your personal brand and business reputation. I know some of us struggle, in our own jobs or in our own businesses of trying to find the time to do it effectively. But just know that with the smartphone being so common today with our customers and the advent of things like auto steer where we have time to look at our phones in the tractor, that this is where some of your target audiences are spending their time. So it's important to evaluate for yourself what is the most effective way that you can build your social media brand online. And then finally, the third takeaway is that it can effectively demonstrate the value of your agrology knowledge, your expertise, your accreditation, and how it is differentiated from others in the marketplace. And here, what I'm really saying is that in our industry in agriculture, there's a lot of cases where there's different levels of services that are provided to customers and different levels of agronomy knowledge. And you really want to have the opportunity to demonstrate the expertise and the extra effort and reputation that you've developed by having accreditation and being affiliated with the SIA. So it's really a great opportunity to showcase that and differentiate yourself from others in the marketplace. And finally, on behalf of Ashley and myself, thank you so much for inviting us to join your AGM, and we would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Well, thank you. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to mention too to the audience that first, if you want to see some great tips on social media marketing and ag specifically, please follow us on Instagram at Ag Social Canada. It's a really great platform our team works hard on. So love to see y'all follow us as well.
Thank you so much, Patty and Ashley. That was a very informative session here. We do have a few questions coming in from the members here. So our first question is, you didn't mention the engagement on YouTube. What is the age range and usage of this platform? Do you have that information?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but it is something to address. So YouTube is growing. It actually is, a good platform. It's growing in Canada and a good platform for older video users. So we don't provide the service right now to many clients, but because we're focused on Instagram. So in addition to you focusing your efforts on the platforms that are going to get the most engagement and have the highest audience membership. We are too for our clients. So Instagram is definitely leading YouTube, but I mean, if this is a platform that you use frequently and you know your customers do, it is another really great platform, and they call them shorts on there, but they're essentially the same thing as Reels.
Thanks. Do you see LinkedIn as a platform geared more towards the individual than brand marketing? I think many of us in our 20s and early 30s find Instagram very intuitive but effective. Use of LinkedIn is challenging, for at least for me. Any tips, or is LinkedIn better used for networking, as you mentioned?
Yeah, so I would use both, especially as a professional. The nice thing about it is LinkedIn offers opportunities for getting seen more than any other platform, because most people who use LinkedIn are there to absorb information and read, and there's a low rate of posting compared to how many people are reading. So there is a cool opportunity there for anybody who, rolls up their sleeves with it and wants to post about their personal brand. And I think it's great for both. So if you have a business, to have your business present, but also showcase your personal professional self as well. Both are essential. And I know it's not as intuitive as Instagram, but I'm a Facebook lover, like most Canadians. And what I find is it's very, very similar to Facebook. So if you're comfy with Facebook, you'll be comfy with LinkedIn.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add as well to Ashley's comment that, LinkedIn originally started as a platform where people would post jobs and look for career opportunities. But LinkedIn's really evolved to be that professional networking platform in addition to the place for looking for career opportunities. So I would highly recommend, especially in your industry, that it's really valuable to stay on the LinkedIn platform, just so that your presence there is known, but also your ability to network in the industry.
Great, thanks. Next question. What are the potential risks or challenges agrologists might face?
Mm. One thing that I can think of, and this kind of applies to every business, is, if you're not ready to be present, if somebody has a question for you, or, use it as a customer service tool, because once you do start building your social media and do start getting engagement, your audiences and customers expect you to be reactive if they have, like in real time almost, if they send you a DM or they have a question or they make a comment. So there is the risk of maybe displeasing your audiences if you can't be that reactive. But other than that, like anything, stay away from controversial topics, I would say. And goes for any brand. You don't talk about like anything political or personal opinions. Really have a professional, like put your professional hat on when you use it, and you'll minimize risks.
Yeah. Yeah. The only other thing I would add to that is just, again, building off of what Ashley said, really the risks are you put a lot of work into building your following and taking really great videos and pictures to build your own reputation and showcase your expertise as an agrologist on the platforms. And then if you don't engage back with your audiences, as a risk is that a lot of that work that you put into growing that following that you have, it'll be hard for them to stay engaged with you if you're not engaging back in the comments they have, or if they particularly show you that, hey, that was a really, really great reel, you were out in the field and you did weed ID on a weed like golden corydalis as an example. Show us what that weed is. And it got a lot of interest because people had never seen that before or never seen it ID'd. So if you see a great deal of engagement, do more of those kinds of posts, and give your audiences what they want to see. So I would say the main risks are the ones that Ashley identified. But if you go into this space, stay consistent.
Thank you. Sounds great. Next question. You gave so many great do's, but do you have any don'ts to watch for?
Yes, so don't talk about only products and services.
Yeah.
Don't only go on when, there's something in it for you. So, the whole like giving back to the audience. Don't I just mentioned this, but I'll mention it again. Don't, take personal stances on anything like politics or religion, all the basic things, basic 101s in life. I would say if you have, so sometimes you may get, negative feedback. It does happen from time to time. Don't engage and try to bring those conversations internally if they ever happen to you. Oh, and most importantly, don't spread yourself too thin. So it's really I one of our training sessions focuses strictly on social media marketing with limited resources. And the thing that we emphasize is like you can't be everything to everybody. You can't be on all the platforms. So just if being really good at one is all you can do, that's what you need to do. And don't worry about it. Just be excellent at one thing.
Great, thanks. Any tips to draw boundaries between personal and professional socials? Sometimes it's difficult to overcome overlaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, humanizing yourself, and your brand is really important. People want to work with real people. They love to see, cool things about what you're doing in your life. But yeah, anything negative, controversial, I would leave that out anyways. Like just if you're not even, a business leader or, an agrologist, but um, keep it positive. Just remember that, people are coming to social media to unwind and be entertained, and you want to be a part of that positive experience.
Yeah. And the other thing that I would add there, Lise, is that if I give you the example of that you're an independent professional agrologist that works with farmers directly, and you have your own business presence on social media, and you also have a personal page on Facebook, say, and on Instagram, just recognize that even though you have a business page separate from your personal, just know that people are likely going to check you out on your personal pages as well. So, some of the best practices that Ashley talked about, even on your personal pages, just remember that even though you have your own business page, they probably will still look at your profile, your personal profile. So it's important to recognize that and just, as Ashley said, keep it positive. It doesn't mean you can't showcase, pictures of your family reunion and all those great things on your personal page. You absolutely can. Just be cognizant of the fact that your customers will likely look at your personal pages as well.
Yeah, great, thanks. Social media is becoming increasingly important in our world. Do you think eventually we will be seeing courses on how to use these tools offered as a standard university or college, or even possibly even at high schools?
That's such a good question because when we first started doing social media marketing over 10 years ago, I mean, nobody had any experience, right? Except for, marketing experience that they learned at university and then, learning the tools and self-training. Now there's lots of resources where you can learn more about it. But as far as formal education goes, what I've noticed is um, the colleges and universities are adopting it just recently. So there is training. If you're looking for training, it's the colleges that are focusing on it a little bit more at this point. But yeah, I think it's where our audiences are spending, people in general, 96% of Canadians over 2 hours a day. So it's the number one form of marketing and definitely can't be ignored. So I hope there's more coming down for formal education.
Yeah, Lise, and I guess from an agriculture producer's perspective, because I am also personally engaged in the business of farming and ranching, is I think social media done well can be a tremendous platform for us to tell the story of agriculture to our non-farming consumers. And, I think the last statistics I saw, Lise, was 2% of us produce the food for the other 98% of us in North America. So I think social media done effectively and done well can really help amplify the message of how important the ag industry is to not just the food that we, ultimately see in the grocery store, but just, its source of importance to the economy and all of the things that impact us on a daily basis. So I really think that there's an opportunity. Similar to Ashley, are seeing it show up more in colleges than it necessarily at universities. But ultimately, I just want to say that I think there is a benefit to getting some training, because when I was at Independent Ag Retail, we kind of mucked around with trying to figure it out on our own. But we were so much more efficient when we actually took a course from a professional, and we just became much more efficient and effective at it. So I'm a big fan of it. I think it's a platform to tell our story in agriculture as well, Lise.
Great. Those are some great points, Patty. So for your training courses, are they all online, or how does somebody access your training courses?
So we do micro training webinars just like this, so different topics and subjects. I guess if anybody's interested in any of them, feel free to email us. Is Patty's email somewhere that they can?
Yeah, I've got it. With Annette has my email. So yeah, we do intensive social media training. We also can do micro, as Ashley said. And the beauty of some of our training is it's online, so that you can also take it at your own pace. So you really, can tailor a solution to whatever your needs are.
Great, thanks. I guess this is the last question. Could you please provide an estimate on the typical cost per post for Instagram Shots or Facebook Reels?
That's a good question, but a hard one to answer. So as far as our management goes, we don't charge per post. We charge so there's so much more to it, strategy, post creation, building your community, checking your notifications, monitoring your analytics. So it's really hard to distill the cost down to a single post. But I guess if I had more context on what you're wondering that for, then I could give you a better answer. But just so you know, ours is like a flat monthly management fee every month, so it's not broken down by post.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Another question did come in, and we still have a little bit more time here. So what are the new challenges in social media with the new rules under the Competition Act?
Can you be specific on the new rules you're talking about?
This was a question from Graham. I don't know if he would like to expand on this, or
do they mean the Privacy Act?
Possibly, yeah. Maybe you could answer it with that slant, if you don't mind.
I would need more context on this. Like, there's just so much going on with social media. Like, best practices and new rules are coming out daily. So it's just, I would need to know specifically what exactly he's talking about. Sorry. Wish I could
no, that's
okay. Answer.
So I'll address it from one example. So as an example, and this may not be what the nature of the question from Graham was, but as it relates to privacy laws in Canada, I'll give you an example. On the weekend, I was really fortunate to judge a 4-H public speaking competition on the weekend, where we had, over 30 4-H members, ranging from clover buds to seniors, get on stage and do their presentations. And so I wanted to post today that I got to be involved in that group. I wanted to congratulate all the competitors, the participants in the competition, congratulate the winners who are going on to provincials. But you got to remember what I was very cognizant of is these are all people that are under the age of 18, right? And so it's very important as an example in that situation. All of those 4-H members had signed releases. So I actually could put their pictures on social media today. But that's something to think about as you're doing your own social media, is just be cognizant when you're capturing images that you get permission from people to capture their photos or videos and use them on your social media as an example. And especially if kids are involved, just make sure you have a parental sign off on using content like that. Now, again, that might not have been exactly the root of that person's question, but I just thought I would add that as a tip as well.
That's a great point, Patty. Graham did respond here. This is the new rules about environmental and product claims. So the competition related to that.
Sorry, I don't have any expertise on environmental and product claims, so I can't give you the best answer. But what we can do is take this back and find some information for you, if that helps.
Great, thank you so much. I guess there's no more questions here. Thank you so much, Ashley and Patty, for the great presentation